Breaking news, Nigerians. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu pledges the sum of 1 million naira for any Nigerian law student who can find the judicial president on stay of execution of accused already discharged and acquitted. Guys, this is interesting. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has vowed to pay the sum of 1 million naira to any law student in Nigeria who can find and also provide a judicial precedent where the Nigerian judge who granted a stay of execution in a criminal proceedings where the suspect or the defendant has been acquitted and discharged. A case study of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu, we all know, is in the custody of the DSS. He has been there since 2021 over alleged terrorism charges filed against him by the Nigerian government. Tell me why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will still be in the custody of the DSS after being discharged and acquitted by a court of appeal in Abuja. Tell me, if not because this country is a lawless country where the government does not obey court orders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, till date, wouldn't have been in the custody of the DSS. But because the federal government are so scared of Nnamdi Kanu, they are scared of his capacities, what he can do, because they know the grace he carries. They feared that if they should release him, it would really cost them a lot. So they went behind and then they brought up another case against him. They brought up another case against him despite the fact that the court has already discharged him, cleared him, declared him a free man. So the IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, made a pledge following a stay of execution granted to the Nigerian government in October 2022 by Justice Haruna Tassamini of the Appeal Court on a judgment which was also delivered by the Appeal Court Justice, which set Nnamdi Kanu free and acquitted him of the charges of terrorism and treasonable felony against him. The three-man panel of Justice of the Appeal Court had held that the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigerian government without adherence to the due process of the law was a gross violation of all international conventions, all international treaties, protocols, and guidelines that Nigeria is a signatory to, and as well as the breach of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's fundamental human rights. Nigeria is known to be a country where they don't respect human rights. They don't have regard for fundamental human rights. You can see on a daily basis those that tend to speak against the government, they are being detained, they are being picked up, and they would lay one allegations or the other on such persons. They tag you a terrorist. If you come out to protest, they say you are planning a coup against this government. The appellate court had further held that the government failed to refute the allegations that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was in Kenya and that he was abducted and brought back to the country without any extradition process. Because we saw the way Nnamdi Kanu was abducted to Nigeria. He was kidnapped. You see what the federal government are trying to do with Finland, where General Christopher Musa said they have submitted all the documents required to extradite Simon Ekpa back to Nigeria. They did not do the same for Nnamdi Kanu. They did not follow any process for Nnamdi Kanu. They just went to Kenya and just picked him overnight and brought him back. So on that ground, the appellate court held that the government was quite silent on the issue and nobody is trying to hold them accountable for that, their actions. And they've been quiet. They are trying to shy away from the fact that they abducted Nnamdi Kanu, that they kidnapped him. But you see, Simon Ekpa's case is quite different because he is a Finnish citizen. And the Finnish government will not allow their citizen to be mistreated or to be manhandled by the Nigerian government. That's why anything they are doing is there. I mean, they are doing it in Finland. I don't even know if the Finnish government would approve that document that the Nigerian government said they've submitted. We don't know if they will approve it, because they must have checked some consequences surrounding them bringing Simon Ekpa back to Nigeria, as he is also their citizen. So they would double check it. So on that grounds, they've said the government is silent though, because all this process the government are doing to bring Simon Ekpa, that they did not do the same for Nnamdi Kanu. They just went and picked him up. And had it been the government had the powers to go to Finland and pick Simon Ekpa up, they would have done that since. They would have done that a long time ago. But because Finland is not like Kenya, where you can easily go and pick somebody. No. That is why they've not been. That's why they've not been able to go and pick Simon Ekpa up. And at this point, this is very vital in determining whether the trial court would still have the jurisdiction to continue with the criminal proceedings before it. The appellate court judges held that the Nigerian government's actions tainted the entire proceedings it initiated against Nnamdi Kanu and amounted to an abuse of criminal proceedings in general. And it amounted to an abuse of criminal proceedings in general. So the government is engaged in a serious abuse of power. But the Nigerian government, in a notice of appeal filed before the Supreme Court, quickly sought a stay of execution on the ruling of the Court of Appeal. And during a press conference held in Abuja on Thursday, Kanu's legal team noted that Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention at the DSS custody is illegal and not predicted on any court orders. So Nnamdi Kanu was remanded in custody on the allegations that he jumped bail. And by the decisions of the Court of Appeal, all the charges for which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being tried were quashed. Everything. They gave an order. The Court of Appeal, precisely in Abuja, granted Nnamdi Kanu, his freedom. But no, they unlawfully granted Nnamdi Kanu a stay of execution. And that order was illegally granted. And never in the history of any country's, judicial process have an acquitted person been denied of his release from detention by the way of stay of execution, just like what they are doing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu don't say any law Nigerian students wey fit find the precedent on the stay of execution in a criminal proceedings where an acquitted person is by such order restrained from enjoying freedom, that he will give that person 1 million naira. This is an illegality that will haunt Nigeria for as long as life ensures. So my country people, what are your thoughts on this? Guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts concerning this in the comments.